The first zone technique we're going to take a look at is what we call our single block. The single block is a zone combination between the center and the play side guard. Generally, we'll use it against a tight technique, either shading the center or the inside shade of the guard, although we could use it also with this defensive tackle playing in a 3 technique on the guard. As long as we know that this is a wide player here, we'll make a solo call, which we'll talk about later, and we can still work a single. If we have a tighter shade, is generally where we want to use it. What we're trying to do in a single block is we're trying to get great movement on the level 1 defender and work him back to the level 2 defender. This is a combination block that we'll use for both inside and outside zone. The single tells them what their assignment is, and the only thing that's different with the inside and the outside zone is going to be where their leverage on the defender is. And so a single is a combination between the guard and the center to the play side, and they'll change their area of leverage based upon if the play is an inside zone play or an outside zone play. Generally, what we like to do on a single block is we like to have both linemen take a check step with their play side foot. Depending upon the width of the defender will dictate the width of the step of the play side guard. So if a play side guard has an inside shade on him here, he's just going to pick his outside foot up and put it down. He's going to take his second foot and try to step through the crotch of the defender. If he has an outside shade, then he can pick it up, put it down, and step through the defender trying to cover him up. The center is going to take a check step on both cases, no matter where the defender's at, and he's going to work through the A-gap, trying to get movement and hip-to-hip relationship with the guard, getting movement up to the second level defender. Again, be a little sharper angle for these guys if it was an outside zone. Let's take a look here at some clips of some single blocks. So here what we have is we're going to have a single block between our left guard and our center. Again, we have an inside shade on the guard here, and so what's going to happen is that guard should take a check step with his outside foot, try to get vertical with his inside foot. Center will take a check step, working to get hip to hip with the guard to get movement up the field. Again, they're looking for movement. If this man were to slant outside, now as that center takes his check step, he can continue on his path up to that inside linebacker. It's a good job here. It's an inside zone play, and so they're thicker on the defender, letting him come to the outside, knowing that the ball is going to probably fit inside on him. Pretty good job of getting leverage and giving us a place to run. Excellent rep, excellent finish by the guard. Again, we're trying to get great movement on the level 1 defender. Movement, to me, is not always knocking him off the ball, but distorting the line of scrimmage. We're able to distort the line of scrimmage here on this level 1 defender, and the back's able to get inside of him. Okay, here's another look of a single block again with our left guard and our center. Again, it's an inside shade, so the guards will take a check step with his outside foot, work through the crotch of the defender with his inside foot. Center's working sideways or laterally to cover up. Defender moves here, and now the center's going to climb to the linebacker. Excellent job. The safety comes in to make the play, not accountable for the safety. Okay, here's a single block again. We're on the left side. Again, inside shade. Check step by the guard. And then he goes vertical. This is an excellent technique by the left guard. It's a great job by the center. They're hip to hip, moving that level 1 defender up to the backer. When you get movement on him, he's got to commit one way or the other. And so this is excellent technique by both the guard and the center on this single block. Okay, here's a single block now versus a head-up technique on the guard. So we've got what we call a two technique playing straight up on the guard. That guard's still going to use the same footwork, check step outside, vertical step, second step. Center is going to be working to close the gap, getting hip to hip with the center, and fits up to the defender well. Again, we want to try to press that ball even longer, because I think here, because they do such a good job, this is where the hole is at. And by executing that single block, they've created that great crease. Here we're going to take a look at it going to the left. Again, a little hoppy by the guard, but he is taking the check step, trying to get vertical with his second step. Got to get that second step in the ground. Center does a nice job of working hip to hip and distorting the down man, and the back presses and cuts up. Excellent job here. The approach of the guard, the timing is good coming off to the linebacker. He does a nice job here working his hips down, coming up and running through that linebacker. Okay, here's a single again to the left side. Check step by the guard, closing the gap by the center. Now the linebacker wants to run through. So as we're teaching this technique also, we want them to feel the down guy. I often use this coaching point, feel the down guy, see the linebacker. 4 eyes on the linebacker so that we know where he's going. The center sees him come off to the inside. The guard also sees that. He stays on the down man. The center comes off to the linebacker. The back does a nice job here of pressing, forcing that linebacker to step up to our center before he makes his cut. Okay, here's a single block now with a tighter shade on the center. We don't change up our footwork though. We're going to see our play side guard take a quick check step with his outside foot, and then he's going to work back into the shaded player on the center to give some help to that center. Now this happens to be a play action pass, but what we try to do is we try to make the play action pass look exactly like the run. So we want this technique to be the same if we were running the ball. The only difference here is the guard's pulling off rather than going upfield to the linebacker. But initially, the footwork's all the same. They're going to come off. We could come up. We know it's a pass. They'll probably say to each other, single, 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 and then come off knowing that it's play action pass and not going downfield. Excellent job coming off and making that linebacker step up. Okay, here it is again to a shaded technique. And here's one where we start out with a one technique on the guard, and now he's going to spike to the outside of the guard. So by taking that check step, it buys time for that defender to try to cross your face. Knowing the leverage point on the defender and where the ball's going, we're going to let that defender take himself out of the play. Center does a nice job. One arms the spiking one tech who's cross-facing the guard, and then he climbs square up to the linebacker. Excellent job. And again, you've seen in these clips some different movements, and we work these combinations daily. And so it's a real easy drill to set up with our center and our guard and just work a number of different combinations. Okay, here we're going to the left. Okay, this is more of an outside zone track. So now they've got a single call, and they know this is an outside zone play. So now they're changing their angles just a little bit. Their assignment is no different. We're going to check step. And on our check step, it's going to be a deeper check step now because we're going for more width. The wider we go, the wider the defender and the wider the play, the deeper the check step to get us on our angle. Guard does a nice job of holding him off, keeping his outside hand free, giving the center time to get his head across the defender before the guard departs to the linebacker. They both do a nice job sustaining these blocks now in space. And again, this is going to happen. It's going to have to last longer on an outside zone play. Okay, now here's an example of a single block to a three technique. Okay, so whenever we have that, there's a call for the tackle. He knows that he's got this guy alone, so he's out of the picture. These guys are blocking out. So what we're going to do is we're going to work a single to this linebacker between these two players. Okay, if this player stays outside, the center will climb. If this player were to rock inside, the guard would climb. And so again, still a two-man play side combination. The three technique stays a three. The center closes the gap with a shuffle step here, and he climbs vertical up to the linebacker. Excellent footwork, play side guard, check step. Defender wants to stay outside, turns into a drive block. Okay, example here again. Got a three technique. He plays more into the guard. Guard does a nice job of controlling him. Check step, work vertical. Again, inside zone play, not an outside zone play. Center is stepping to secure the A gap and work that movement up to the linebacker. Both guys are in great position. Inside hand leverage, feet apart, good demeanor. Okay, same thing again. Now we're going to a three technique. The three technique is going to spark inside. We're going to get movement there. Again, the tackle is responsible for that guy. Tight end's out here. We're just working this two-man combination inside. We get movement by the three. Center closes the gap, and then he comes off. Guard takes his check step. He's hopping a little bit here. I'd like him to not hop so much and try to get that second step vertical through that defender, which he does get a hand back inside there, wanting to keep the outside arm free by the guard so he can come up and square up on the linebacker. Okay, get another single here. Starting out with an inside shade. Now we're working to the play side backer. We got one Mike backer in here, so everybody else is responsible to block man. So we make a single call. Guard's overreaching here. He's again, this was a young player, first time in there. He's overstepping on his check step. He can just pick it up and put it down. Then he should take that second foot and step vertical through this defender, knowing that the center's going to come and have inside help. Center does a nice job, has his eyes on the backer. The guard should see that also. And now he knows that he's going to have to come up to the guard or to the linebacker. Our next zone blocking technique is our double block. And for us, a double block is a combination block between the guard and the play side tackle. So it's a zone blocking combination to the play side between the guard and the play side tackle. The double is the same as what we would do in a single block. So the double is an assignment, okay, between those two. And it'll be the exact same assignment, whether it's inside zone or outside zone. And so in our system, our players understand the difference between an inside zone and an outside zone play. And so when we make the call in a double, if it's an inside zone, they're going to have tighter tracks. If it's an outside zone, they're going to have a little bit wider track. And so what they're going to both do is anytime we have a combination block, we're going to check step with our play side foot. When we're on the play side of a play, we're going to check step with our play side foot. So they'll take a check step. They're going to be working any type of combination. They could have there's a diagram here. We have a 5 tech on the guard, okay, on the tackle. If he stays outside, you can see here that the guard will climb. If he were to spark inside and scrape the backer, then it would exchange who they're blocking on that play. And so it's just based upon movement, they're going to block basically the B and the C gap defenders on a play. And again, their landmarks will change slightly if it's inside or outside zone, a little bit wider landmark on an outside zone, a little tighter landmark on an inside zone. So that's the combination block on the play side between the guard and tackle. Let's take a look at some different clips here of what the double looks like. Okay, here's the first one here. I back this up. Back it up a little more. Okay, between the play side tackle and guard, so we're going to be going to the left here. We have an inside shade, so what we would like that tackle to do is take a check step with his outside foot, work vertical with his inside foot, keep his outside arm free so that he's square to come off to the backer. We're going to take a check step here. He's going to try to close the gap, get covered up on the defender, and climb vertical. Again, he can have a little more inside head placement on an inside zone, a little more outside head placement on an outside zone. For us, this is an outside zone track here. And so you see the play side tackle take a check step. Second step should go vertical. We want to keep our outside hand free. The guard does a nice job here on his check step of working for width to get his head across. And now that tackle is in position to come off square to the linebacker. Okay, now we're going to go to the right. They made a call, the double call. There's no B gap player right now, so we're reading the C gap player and the linebacker. So we should get a check step by both players, and based upon who's going to be responsible for the B gap, the guard's going to end up on. Whoever's in the C gap, the tackle's going to end up on. Check step with their right foot. Both of them should take a check step. We're running an outside zone track here, so you can see that they're going for width and understanding that if we don't get them reached, the back's going to cut back inside underneath them. So they're going to stretch the defense by taking a deep open step and working for width. Reading the outside defender, stays outside. The guard's taking that check step, checking for the B gap, climbing up to the backer. Excellent technique there. Okay, now we got a 4-eye to the play side. Inside shade on the tackle, okay? So we want to, again, take a check step with the outside foot, a vertical step with the tackle with his inside foot. Check step outside foot, vertical step through the crotch of the defender. Very important to try to keep that outside hand free. We don't like him putting his outside hand in there because it turns his shoulders, and we want his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage when he comes off to the linebacker. Going to get a check step by the play side guard. He's going to work to get hip to hip with the guard, cover up the 4-eye if he stays a 4-eye. If they're working an outside zone track, which they're doing here, that guard's going to take a little deeper check step now to try to get leverage on the outside edge of this guy. Tackle does a nice job here. Check step, outside foot, work vertical, keep outside arm free in position to come off to the backer. Got to do a better job with that guard of finishing that block. Okay, here is a double versus a 4-eye and a linebacker on an inside zone play. So the play side guard is going to check step, okay, and these two have to have 4 eyes on that linebacker, okay, and they're going to work a combination. Guy goes, steps with his outside foot on our tackle, and you can see the tackle stepping with his play side foot, and then vertical, giving that guy time to show where he wants to go. Nice job by the guard. He's using shuffle footwork here, which is we use a combination of both shuffle and check step. I would prefer that we just check step every time on the front side, use more shuffle footwork on the back side. But he comes off, gives a little nudge there to the tackle, and then he comes up to the inside linebacker. Tackle has to do a better job of keeping this guy leveraged, knowing where the ball's going. Okay, he's getting some guard help right here. I think that's enough help by the guard. Tackle now wants to try to keep leverage on the inside edge of that defender for the guard to come up to the linebacker. Okay, now we've made a call here that we're going to work a combination with the guard tackle on a double. We looked earlier at a single block where we could take these two on a combination to here. On this particular look, we said our center is going to handle this guy, and there's been movement on the play side, and so we want to have a combination block with these two to handle any type of movement. So check step with their play side foot. Here comes the outside, the defensive end, outside backer, sparking to the inside. Check step with the tackle with his outside foot, trying to step vertical with his second step going up the field. Keeps his shoulders square. The play side guard takes his check step, opens his hips to his play side, does a nice job coming up and getting underneath the pads of the defensive end, and the tackle is in position to come off square to that linebacker and giving us that crease to come through. Okay, here we are again. Now we're going to the left. And again, they've got a double, but that backer is way to the inside. So they can be a little slower on it. The tackle certainly doesn't want to step really, really wide. He does a great job here of taking his check step and then working vertical and keeping his outside arm free. Okay, the most important thing here for this guy is to try to work this block and never turn and put that outside hand inside. You want to keep it free. Guard does a nice job of covering this guy up, and the running back should block this guy with his track. If he runs that track right and he's running flat, this guy has no option but to come outside, and our tackle's in great position to pick him up on the double. They're taking the angle here of an outside zone. Yeah, the back is running inside, then he's getting to his outside path. If it's just a straight outside path, we've got great leverage on with this double. Okay, again, here is a double call versus a 4-eye. Watch the footwork of the play side tackle is excellent, okay? They're working this double on an outside zone track, so that guard is taking more of a drop step and getting more width on his check step here. The tackle does a great job of taking one step, working vertical, puts his inside hand on the guy, keeps his outside hand free, which allows him to stay square up to the linebacker, and he's using a change up instead of blocking up all the time. Now he comes and he cuts the linebacker. They've got the edge sealed. Excellent, excellent technique on this double on the outside zone. Okay, here we go against a 4-eye. And so you're going to get a check step here. You want to go vertical second step, outside arm free. That's what the tackle wants to get done. Check step with the guard, close the gap, and read the movement of the 4-eye. 4-eye wants to stay in the gap. Guard's going to work to cover him up. Again, if the back's track is flat on this and he has the ball, okay, if he's going flat, this guy's got to commit one way or the other, okay? And that's why we want our tackle to work vertical and cut that edge. If it's an inside zone, then this tackle would be working more vertical rather than working for width. They're working the course of an outside zone right here. Okay, this is a double for an outside zone. They're working for width. If it's an inside zone, they would get into a hip-to-hip position. He'd take one check step in the same spot, he'd pick it up, put it down. He would climb vertical, and they would get hip to hip and move up the field so this ball has a chance to cut back inside. If it's outside zone, which this is here, then we're going to try to get our guard's head to the play side number and our tackle off to the linebacker. And again, just the assignments are the same. It's just based upon the inside and outside zone. You could have a call and add, and we've done this in the past on a single and a double. We've added the term double in, double out. as a communication with the offensive line. My more experienced players, we don't do that. We've kind of got away from it, but early on, we would say double in if it was an inside zone play, and we say double out if it was an outside zone play. We could do the same thing with the single block. Single in, single out, just making sure that they understood where the ball was supposed to be going. Our next zone technique is our slide technique. And for us, the slide is a call on the front side, again, with the center, the guard, and the tackle. Play side, guard and tackle, and center, three-man combination. We call slide, so they're all working together. And basically, when we make a slide call, the center here is responsible for the A gap, the guard is responsible for the B gap, and the tackle is responsible for the C gap defender on a slide call. So any type of movement that they get, they'll hand it down to the man inside and continue on their track through the play side defender to their play side gap. And so let's take a look here at some techniques. Again, these will all be check steps on a slide call to the play side. The footwork we would use would be our check step to the play side. So let's take a look here at some different clips of slide technique. So here it is going to the left. Again, it's a play side three-man combination. So the center is going to handle the A gap, the guard's going to handle the B gap, tackle's going to handle the C gap. Any type of movement that changes their alignment will go to the next man. Tackle comes inside, he becomes the centers. Defensive end comes inside, he becomes the guard. So any type of combination they want to do, they could run the guy inside, bring the linebacker, that'd be the guards, that'd be the centers. So again, it's a combination block between the three play side linemen, should be taking a check step with their play side foot, each of them. We'll use a slide call. We mainly use this on inside zone, but we would make the same call if it was an outside zone. We don't run the outside zone as much to a three technique as we do to a shade, but if we did, we would use the same call. So again, slide is assignment-wise who they would block, and again, they would know the difference between it was slide to an inside zone or slide to an outside zone. Majority of these clips will be in inside zone plays. Check step by each player. You can see the check step by each player here is stepping with his play side foot, opening his hips, working a 45-degree angle to the defender that comes to his gap. So the 3 stays a 3, so the guard takes him. The 5 stays a 5, the tackle takes him. Center does a nice job reading the A gap and climbing up to the linebacker. Okay, here we are again. We're going to go to the left, and we've got the slide call. We've got a tighter alignment on the play side guard. And so, again, they should each take a check step with their play side foot, read the defender where they want to go, block through their play side gap. If this is a play that is an outside zone, then, which this play here is, they're going to stretch those defenders knowing that most likely the ball's got to go inside on them. So they're changing their footwork. Their landmark's a little wider here on the outside zone. Tackles the center, I should say, is reading the A gap. That guy is running. He's going to come up to the backer. So this is an excellent job here on an outside zone. We're ripping and running and trying to do everything we can to get guys reach, knowing that, they're assignment-wise, they're going to leverage us and try not to let us reach them. We're going to stretch the play and bring it back inside. Excellent job. Okay, here we go again. Now we got a linebacker that's going to step up into that A gap and blitz. And this is an inside zone. So you'll see on this, you notice the play side guard is not going for as much width as he did on the last play where it was an outside zone track. So again, slide is a three-man combination. They know it's inside zone, and so they're going to work that combination for these three defenders. Backer walks up, center knows that he's going to come up quicker. He's reading, there's no A gap. Backer walks up to take the A gap. He comes up, squares him up. Pretty good job by all these guys with leverage with their hands. They've got a good demeanor, hands inside, and then the pad level down. Okay, here's a slide call going to the left of the offensive line. Again, the 3 and the 5 are staying 3-5, which was normally what they'll do. Center is going to work through the A gap. And again, this is an inside zone track, so our check step will not be as deep. And we just have, we know from a guard tackle standpoint that if we're running inside zone and a 3 and a 5 want to stay a 3 and a 5, we want to keep them a 3 and a 5. We know that ball is going to cut behind us. And so we got to keep them leveraged to our outside. Center's got to climb, same thing. He wants to be in position to leverage the linebacker, knowing that ball is going to be going behind him. Okay, here we go again. Slide call to the right. Check step. Again, inside zone track. Now on the snap, the defender is running outside over our guard, so that's changing his angle a little bit. But again, both he and the tackle know that that ball is going inside of him based on the leverage of those defenders. And the center does the same thing, does a nice job. He's closing the A gap, and then he's going to climb up to the linebacker. Again, this is a slide call, three-man combination. Another look here. Got a 3 technique, sparks inside our guard. Okay, slide call, 3-man combination. Guard comes up to the linebacker. Center does a nice job getting his head across. We would like that guard to try to keep his outside hand free. And his eyes, with this guy moving inside, the guard's eyes should be out here to see if that guy's coming inside before he climbs up to the backer. So anytime we have a slide call, you have to get your eyes to your play side gap and read that defender. If that play side gap defender moves, then your eyes are looking for the next defender to vertical to climb to the linebacker. And again, we're in great shape here to press this thing. This ball should press this way, and we would have what we want. Okay, again, we got a slide call. We got a 3-5 combination. Check step with our play side foot. This is coming off an inside zone track. 3-5 are staying at 3-5. We know where the ball's going. We can let them we can even let them beat us up the field some. Okay, we're going slide call to the left. Comes the run through linebacker. Everybody's in great shape. Now, this guy, the tackle's taking a check step here. He's feeling this 3 technique spark out. Now, they did some full schemes on us with their D-line, and so we were being more patient here. You notice the left tackle's taking a check step, waiting, and letting that combination work together, with letting that guy come outside, then he can work vertical, and the guard can work up to the guy trying to play over the top. Again, this was a game plan thing. Still, it's a slide call. It's a 3-man combination. We added the scheme of this X stunt that these guys like to do. And so we just, again, work the combination, the 3-on-3, however it falls. Our next zone blocking technique is our triple block, which is a front side zone combination block between the play side tackle and the play side tight end. And again, as with all of our blocks, they need to know whether the play is an inside or outside play to adjust their footwork and their targeting. But the triple is the combination, play side combination, zone block of the tackle and the tight end. And so working together, they'd come up to the line of scrimmage, and if the tight end's attached, he would make a triple call to the tackle to know that he's got a man to his outside that's working with him, and then they would work their zone scheme up through their called out backer on their stack. Let's take a look at some clips here. Okay, here we go. The right side is the right tackle on the tight end. Working a triple technique. Again, footwork for us is going to be a check step. And I would like, this is pretty good by the play side tight end. He takes his check step and then tries to get vertical with his inside foot. Tackle's taking his check step, trying to cover up the 7 technique. Tight end does a nice job of keeping the shoulders square, keeping that outside arm free. Again, all of our play side techniques, the lead guy wants to keep that outside arm free. This is an excellent job here by the tight end, and you see he's in position to come up square to this linebacker. If he gets turned, if that tight end turns and gets his right arm in there too involved, he's not going to be squared up to come off to the backer. Tackle does a nice job of getting head placement to the play side number or the play side via the neck of this defender and covers him up. Okay, going to the right again. Again, triple call. Got check step by both players. Tight end now, his check step to pick it up, put it down because the player's playing a 7 technique. Second step's through the crotch. Tight end takes his check step, opens his hip, aiming point, play side number, play side via the neck versus the 7 technique. Tight end stays square coming off and is in position to come off square to the linebacker. Again, he's using his play side hand, but he's not getting it caught in there, and he understands the importance of getting that hand out of there so that he is square to come off to the backer. Here we are again against a little wider technique, so now his check step's a little bit different. Takes a little more of an open step, trying to step vertical up through the defender on the second step. Same step for the tackle, check step. It's a wide alignment by the defensive lineman, so he's going to take a deeper check step. Still working to get his head to the outside. Now, this is an outside zone play, so he's going to come a lot further on this play than he would have in an inside zone play. He's going to really target hard to the outside number and get that guy reached. Nice job by the tight end, again, getting that play side hand free before he disengages and comes off to the linebacker. Okay, now it's a tight alignment on the tight end. I don't particularly like the tight end's footwork here. He's crossing over. We'd rather have him pick up that outside foot and step. Okay, just pick it up, put it down, take that second step with his inside foot and go through the crotch of this defender. Really like the tackle. Does a nice job here. It is an outside zone, so they're going to reach to get that guy reached. Back presses and cuts it back inside. But they've got him reached, and that ball should get outside here. But good work by the tackle. Tight end, again, shouldn't step. He's stepping underneath himself. He can take a check step and then work vertical through the crotch of that defender before he comes off to the linebacker. Yeah, here's a snap of a college look here. Now, this is on an inside zone play. So, again, I think the tackle's fine because it's inside zone. I'd like the tight end to take a check. He's hopping. Okay, that's not what we would want here. We'd want to pick it up and put it down with this foot, step through the crotch on the second step. Straight through the crotch, tackle's there, and then he can come off either to the Sam or to the scrape backer. Tackle's taking the angle for an inside zone play. So he's check stepping and covering the guy up inside out. If it was outside zone, he'd cover him in outside in. If it's inside zone, he'll cover him up inside out. Again, knowing where the ball's going is pertinent for these guys. So that's a look at the triple block. Our next zone blocking technique we're going to talk about is what we call our quad block. And the quad for us is just a continuation of the front side of our zone play. So quad is a combination block between the play side tight end and our wing. It may be your H or your R, but it's basically a tight end and a wing, play side, inside and outside zone play. So again, like all of our other play side, inside zone combos, our landmark and our track is going to be based upon if it's a call to the inside or to the outside. Normally in this look, we're working on an outside zone play, but again, it's the combination between our tight end and our H-back or our wing on the play side of an outside or inside zone play. So again, footwork-wise is check step by both. And again, we're going to be thicker with the inside guy, outside arm free with our outside guy, and we're going to work through that zone. So let's take a look here. We got some clips here of quad, and we're looking at the tackle or the tight end and the wing here on this particular play. So this will be an outside zone play to the right with a quad call with our tight end and our H-back. So again, nice check step by the tight end. The wing is taking shuffle footwork or a check step, but his outside arm is going to stay free unless that guy comes outside. The receiver is falling off of his block, so that's not the responsibility here of the wing back. If he should be working up to this safety right here. So we can't miss on that block. It's confusing them, but the quad block between the tight end and the wing, they're doing a great job of distorting the line of scrimmage and moving that guy to get the play started. Okay, here's another look again at the outside zone. Now the guy that they're working to is number 1 here, and 31's playing inside. So the tight end's doing a nice job of keeping his eyes up. They're working with the tackle and the tight end and the wing now. So when we have a inside shade here on our tight end, now our quad block involves all 3 of these guys on the zone scheme. Doing a nice job here. The tight end's eyes, now he can feel this down guy, but his eyes have got to come right here, okay? He doesn't have to be turned and looking inside on this guy. They should end up doubling this guy to the scrape backer, and the tackle will pick that guy up. All he has to do is put a hand inside to hold him off with a tackle, but his eyes should still be looking through 31. And he should now have his head on the outside number of 31. He's outside arm free, can work up to number 1 coming over the top. Okay, here we have another look, another structure. So now the tight end and the wing, eyes up, 31 wants to step inside. I'd like him to stay on number 1 longer, but they do a nice job of working the combination off. They got both 1 and 31 blocked. And we run the boot off this play. Now here's an NFL clip of the same block, quad. And they do a nice job here coming. This is how it should look coming off the ball. That's an excellent job of coming off on a quad block on the play side. Great footwork here. Check, step, and go. Check, step, and go. That's an excellent quad block. Our next zone blocking combination is our scoop block. And for us, the scoop is a zone block combination between the center and the backside guard. And again, we'll allow either one of these players to make that call, but what they're trying to do is scoop out that backside A defender. So scoop block, again, backside guard and the center on the backside of an inside or an outside zone play. Let's take a look here at some of these clips. So here we're going to run the ball to our right, and our left guard and our center are going to scoop the nose guard to the backside backer. Check step by the center, trying to work through the play side. Half of that player, I want the backside guard taking more of an open step on his check step and trying to work to get his head across this defender. And he initially does not get great head placement, does a great job here of continuing to work to get his head to the play side number of that defender. Good job by the center. Center should try to work to keep his outside hand free or his shoulder square, working up to the linebacker. Okay, we're going to run the ball to the right. Got a backside shade. Okay, we've got a scoop call by the center guard. Now here's a snap where the nose is going to try to cross face the center. Guard does a nice job of reading his hip and then coming up to the linebacker. So it's a two-man combination. They have the down man and the linebacker on their scoop block. We get movement here, and they work through their tracks and pick up the movement. Got to do a better job of finishing blocks. Never going to be good enough finishing. Always got to harp on that, but they understand the assignment and what they're trying to get done. Okay, here we're going to run the ball now to the left. Okay, we're going to get the scoop block between the right guard and the center. We don't do a great job here with the backside guard. Okay, we want this backside guard. We don't want that footwork. We want him to take a drop step. So he should take this foot and drop it back. He wants to get in the hip of that center. Okay, and that way he can try to do everything he possibly can to try to get his head to the play side number of that defender. The center does a decent job here. If he initially gets his front side arm in, then he frees it up so his shoulders are square, so he's in position to come off at a 45-degree angle at this linebacker. Got to do a better job with the guard on this one with head placement, but the center's in position here to be able to come off to that linebacker. Here's a backside combination here. So we're going to run the ball going to our left. Center and the right guard going to scoop the nose to the play side backer. This is a much better position by the guard center. Center's got the play side hand free. We're running, this is a scoop on a backside outside zone play. So their angles are a little bit different. This guard's getting an excellent relationship with this center to overtake that nose. Both guys are able to leverage their players, the linebacker and the nose, because of the angles that they're taking. They're taking great check steps. The footwork here, they're getting their hips open, and they're taking great angles to get leverage on their defenders. He's going to get great leverage here. He's in position to get leverage on that linebacker. The footwork is excellent here. Outside zone, backside scoop. Okay, going to the right. Don't like the footwork as well here with the guard. I like the center a lot. Center's staying square, outside arm free. I would like this guard to drop this foot more and get in his hips. Now they get the assignments done, and the back does a nice job of bringing that linebacker up and blocking, helping us block him. But I'd like the footwork by this guard to be deeper. Okay, we've got a tilted nose on the center. He's giving one arm. The guard's got to do everything he can. His footwork's pretty good here. Like a little better angle and head placement, trying to get his head across this defender as he tries to scoop him out with the center. Does a nice job of getting movement and distorting him, but you want to really continue to work to get your head placement across. Now, the center on this particular play could have worked more vertical here and got a piece of that guy as he works up to the linebacker. Okay, here's a play. We're going to run it to our right. Going to get a scoop with the left guard in the center. Excellent job here. Again, the guard can take a little deeper step, but the center is doing a nice job of trying to keep his outside hand free, but the defender wants to cross his face. Well, he knows where the ball is going to cut behind him if that defender crosses his face. Does a nice job. The timing of the backside guard is good. Gives his help to the center, and then climbs up to his linebacker, and we get them both cut off. Great job by the running back pressing. That's why it's important that your back is on the same page as your offensive line so that they can press these guys and help us block them. Our next zone combination is our swap block. And for us, the swap block is a backside combination between the backside guard and the backside tackle on an inside zone play. And so, again, it's a gap responsibility in that they're going to take care of the backside A and B gap, but they're trying to get movement on the down defender, the level 1 defender, working their way up to the level 2 defender on the backside of a zone play. Now, this is only used a swap block on an inside zone play, so we don't cut on the backside of an inside zone play. We stay up, and that's what we do on our swap block. So let's take a look here at some different clips of swap block combinations. Okay, so here's our first one. We're going to be running to the offense's left, the defense's right, and we're going to get the swap block on the backside with the guard and tackle, working the combination with the 3 technique up to number 55, the play side linebacker. So check step by the play side guard, vertical step on his second step, trying to get his second step in the ground, getting vertical. Backside guard is going to take a shuffle footwork here, and he's going to try to close the gap with the tackle. And then as he's reading the backside backer on this particular play, he's going to see that backside backer read scrape, and he's going to turn out and end up blocking the defensive end. Okay, here's a swap, running the zone play to the left. Nice job with the guard, taking a check step, vertical step up the field through the defender. Nice job by the backside tackle. He's using shuffle footwork, and he's going to put his head to the play side number of that backside, that down lineman, and they want to work that guy vertical. You can see the guard lifting and trying to lift that defensive tackle up to the linebacker. And they do a pretty nice job here. What we don't want to do is we don't want this guard to slip through there and come off the backer and then let this guy penetrate. And so it's important for this guard to get his second step vertical and in the ground, buying time for that tackle on his shuffle footwork to get that defender covered up. Then we want to work them hip to hip. As you can see here, they're hip to hip. There's no error in between, and they want to work that guy vertical to the play side linebacker. The running back can help again on this by pressing this and bringing that linebacker and making him commit one way or the other. Okay, here it is on the left side of the offensive line. This will be a play that's going to go to the offense's right. Check step with the guard, vertical step up through the defender. Tackle's going to shuffle step, close the gap. Has to do we would really like the tackle to do a better job here of trying to get his head across the defensive tackle here. Guard does a nice job of getting lift on that guy, and they do a nice job of washing him and distorting the line of scrimmage, making it difficult for this linebacker to make a decision on what gap he wants to fill. Okay, same thing here. Got 3 technique, working our combination block here. Again, the guard, check step, vertical step. He should try to keep his inside hand free. Tackle's working to get his head across the 3 technique. Now, on this particular look here, it's a 4-3 defense, so now that backer's not stacked in here. He's moved over and playing in the A gap. And so now the guard has to do a great job with his eyes. Again, we want these guys to both see the linebacker and feel the down guy. We got to control the level 1 defender, which is the down guy, before we can come off to the linebacker. So eyes on the backer. If he wanted to shoot through, the guard would have to come off quicker, but we don't want to be in a hurry getting off to that guy. We want to try to take the down guy to the linebacker level before we come off. The timing here is pretty good. The more the back presses it, the more easy it is for us to make this and execute this block. Okay, again, now we only have 1 backer to the back side, so he's playing right here, so they're going to work a swap block up to him. Check step by the backside guard, shuffle step by the backside tackle. Tackle does a nice job of head placement here. Good job by the guard freeing up that inside arm and is in position to come off to the linebacker. Nice job of getting hip to hip, stopping penetration, and creating movement on the down guy on this swap block. Again, good press by the back, makes the linebacker commit. We're able to come off on him and cut the ball behind him. Okay, here we go again, swap block. Backer might be walking up here, so we got to have these guys got to have 4 eyes on this backer so they know when that guard has to come off. Check step by the guard. Backer backs out of there. Check step vertical. Okay, lifting. Backside tackle is taking a check step. I'd rather have him take a shuffle step and stay square and close that gap. But they do a nice job of getting lift on the 3 technique and taking him all the way back to that linebacker. That's an excellent job there, moving and distorting that line of scrimmage. Back does a nice job of pressing this and then cutting right off their tail and getting up the field. That's excellent movement on the backside of that play. Okay, got zone play going to the left. Got a swap here. Got a 3 technique cross face in the guard. He's taking his check step. Guard, the 3 tech wants to cross face. Guard turns it into a drive block. Tackle's closing the gap on a shuffle. Guard goes away, or the 3 tech goes away, and that tackle climbs up to the linebacker. Excellent job here reading this and creating a great seam for the back to run through. So good footwork by the guard. Check step, reading the D tackle cross faces, capture him, tackle shuffles, climbs up to the linebacker. Excellent. Okay, backside again, we've got a swap technique here. Check step by the guard. He's going a little bit laterally, too laterally here. I'd like that guard to get more vertical. Tackle does an outstanding job here of closing the gap with the guard and distorting the line of scrimmage, covering that guy up. And again, we're moving the line of scrimmage pretty well right here and gives that back a nice cutback lane. Okay, here's a swap block. Even if this guy is not, we're thinking cutoff here, okay? Because there's no 3 technique here for this guy to swap with. But what we talk about is this turns into a swap on the move, okay? So if we're still going to take our shuffle footwork, okay, and if this guy goes to a 3 technique, he slants to a 3 technique, then it becomes a swap on the move. And they do an excellent job here. Guard check stepping. He's initially stepping to cut off. Guy slants. Now he's going to plant and get vertical, buying time for his tackle to come down and get hip to hip, and it becomes a swap on the move. Okay, here we got a 3 technique, staying in the 3 tech. Check step by the guard, vertical step on a second step, getting vertical. Shuffle step by the backside tackle. Gets hip to hip with the guard. They lift that defender, take him up. Backer tries to scrape. Tackle's able to fall off to the backer because both he and the guard can see the linebacker and feel the down guy. The guard knows he's got to stay on it. He knows his tackle will come off here and block that linebacker. Excellent job by those two. The next zone blocking technique we're going to look at is our read swap technique. And what the read swap is for us, it's a swap block. And we've talked about the swap. It's between the backside guard and tackle. But if we're playing a team that likes to twist on the backside as their answer to our zone play, and generally you can see this coming by the linebacker moving out because they're going to gap exchange it with a twist, then we'll work on this technique called a read swap. And what we're doing on the read swap is we're shuffle stepping to our inside and we're looking for movement by the inside or the down lineman with a twist. And then we want to pick that twist up and let the linebacker be the scrape guy. So what it ends up happening when that linebacker scrapes is we end up with a 5-on-5 combination zone block on the defense and creates nice gaps for us. So we're reading the 2 down guys as opposed to swapping the 3 technique to the linebacker. Let's take a look here at a couple of snaps. We don't have a ton of clips of this. We work on it, and we'll particularly work on it on a game that we know that they're going to try to use this technique as one of their answers to stopping the inside zone on the backside. So let's take a look here. So read swap here by the left guard and tackle. Again, shuffle footwork. And they're reading the down guys. And again, by alignment, we know that there's probably a pretty good chance that this guy has the quarterback. Okay, so now what we want to do is our focus is on these 2 guys. And so we're going to shuffle step to the inside, let the twist develop, be patient with our guard. Okay, shuffle step by the tackle, patient with the guard, check step, vertical step, wait for the looper to come around, and we get it picked up. This is really a really good rep. And as you can see here, by doing that, we end up with 5-on-5 inside here, which creates a nice area to run the football with that guy being the quarterback player. And we would want to hand the ball off here. Now, there's a mistake on the exchange, mishandles the ball, but that would be a definite handoff. And as you can see here, if that ball's handed off, we're in pretty good shape of hitting that thing right through here. There's a huge seam right there. Okay, here's another look at it. Again, the first clue for the offensive line is this linebacker has removed himself. He's playing outside edge of the tackle, okay? That tells us from film study and understanding defenses that it's probably some type of gap exchange where he's going to play outside. They could slant these guys, or there could be a twist with these guys, or here and here. So we're going to read swap it on the backside here. So now there's no twist. We're setting for the twist. Shuffle step with the backside tackle, guard check steps, goes vertical, patient, and now they're both playing gaps, so now the tackle comes back again. Now we end up with 5-on-5 again, and pretty good place to run the football. So two different looks at two different things that they're trying to do with their defense. But the technique is, again, it's not something that we'll do each and every week. But if we see a team that's going to minus the linebacker out for the scrape and play the gap exchange, then we're going to work on the read swap that particular week. If this back were to walk and play back in here, now we would just work our normal swap on the stack. And so that's the read swap. Our next zone combination is our swipe block. And swipe block for us is a backside technique by our guard and tackle on an outside zone play. And so what we're trying to do with the swipe block is we're trying to use the backside players to take great angles to get a cutoff on and leverage on two defenders on the backside. So a lot of times on the swipe block, we're going to ask this tackle to take a short pull and cut this three technique trying to penetrate. What we want the guard to do is we want the guard to avoid all contact and try to get on a track to get out in front of the linebacker who's going to be trying to track the running back on an outside zone track. And so we call it a swipe block. Again, we don't want the guard to touch the three technique because we want to try to cut that three technique if we can. And we want to take a great escape angle for the guard to get in position to have leverage on the backside linebacker. So again, it's a zone combination between a backside guard and a backside tackle, and it's used on an outside zone play. Let's take a look here at some of these clips. So this play is going to be the outside zone play going to the right, and our backside, our left guard and our left tackle are going to try to execute a swipe block. Again, we want to avoid all contact with our left guard. We want our tackle pulling flat and trying to get that guy cut off, or he has the option to cut that player. As you can see here, the guard's angle's pretty good. He's on the same track as the back, trying to get to the play side number of 55, and the quarterback pulls 55 out of the track. Okay, got a swipe here with our right guard and our right tackle. Again, we know the play is going to be going outside here, so we know the angles that these backers are going to be taking. So we want our guard to take an open step and try to take an angle to intersect this guy. And we want to pull flat with our tackle and cut that backside defensive three technique. Again, we can use the backside guard, can throw. If he can't get to the front side of the defender, throw through his backside leg. You know, we want the shoulder angles of these two linemen. Okay, we want their shoulder angle to be the same as the shoulder angle of the running back. Okay, you're going to have outside zone here going to our left. Backside guard is going to take an open step, rip the backside arm through, try to avoid all contact. Open pull by the tackle, try to get his head across. He can rip through or he can cut that defender. Okay, great angle by the linebacker, or by the guard to the linebacker, and he's got the linebacker out leveraged. Slows down and runs him by. Excellent job. Again, it's important that these guys understand the track of the back so that they know the proper angles that they have to take to try to get there. I think this guard here can take even a sharper angle to try to get to that linebacker. Backside tackle, if he thinks he can rip and keep that guy cut off, again, all he has to do is maintain contact, the backside tackle here, and that guy's not going to be able to make the play, but he does have the option of coming flat and cutting his play side leg. Again, this is an outside zone, backside of an outside zone play. Good job here by the guard, taking a great angle. Tackle does a nice job of getting the defensive lineman on the ground, cutting the backside leg of the 3-tech. And the guard does a great job of understanding this is an outside zone play and trying to get that guy leveraged based upon where the running back's going. Okay, outside zone to the right, swipe block, backer tries to run through, change up the block with the guard, and he cuts him. Not as great a technique by our backside tackle. I prefer we open our split. I prefer to have a bigger split here and then just pull and cut that guy. Okay, got the right guard and the right tackle. Going to swipe here. Going to our left. Tackle gets him cut. Guard takes a great angle, avoiding all contact so he can get on his path to get out in front of the running back. Excellent job. Here's a good cut by the backside tackle. This is a bit later in the year. He was feeling more confident in himself. Good job by the guard. There's really not a backer. The backer is all the way removed. But we're not going to change up our technique. We can't touch this guy with our guard and cut him or it'll be an illegal block. So we want the guard to avoid all contact, get through free. Nice job by the backside tackle. Trust your athleticism, trust your technique. Okay, we're going to run the ball to the left. Good angles. Tackle does a nice job of getting in front, getting the guy on the ground. Guard can, he knows by alignment that linebacker is going to be in a deficit, and so his angle's not as sharp. He slows down to be in position to be able to block him. One more time going to the left. Now the guard has the backer plussed over, and so he's got a long ways to go, and he's avoiding all contact on his track to get that guy out leveraged. He does a heck of a job on this play of getting over there, outrunning the back, getting over there and getting him leveraged. And then the backside tackle is getting the backside guy on the ground and making him get up and chase. Nothing a defensive lineman hates worse than getting cut and have to get up off the ground and then run again. Okay, got outside zone going to the right of the offense. Backside tackle, nice job. Backside guard avoiding, excellent. We're going to actually get plussed up here because we have two guys to block that linebacker because 41's running out of the box. So the guy that the guard's really swapping to is 41 who's running out of the box, and he's really going to be in position to get to this guy now, who's already accounted for. Great angle. Okay, outside zone right. Backer's not running. Guard changes the angle a little bit, changes up the block. Excellent. This is what we call a butt block by the backside tackle. He's running, rips, gets by the guy. He's just better than that guy, so instead of letting him go free, he just goes back into him. Okay. Outside zone going to the left. Got a swipe block. You try to get this guy through clean up to that backer. Get a cut block on the 3 technique. So the 3 technique looks like he's got movement, so it's a good job by the tackle to just keep running. They just happened to guess right on this one. This is a great job by the guard, though, of slipping through. Again, you can't get to this background outside zone track if you don't avoid all the traffic. And this guy's doing an outstanding job, and he's getting to the play side number of that linebacker. Excellent by an offensive lineman to be able to do that. That's the swipe block. Our next zone blocking technique is what we call our slug block. And the slug block for us is the backside of the inside-outside zone play combination with a tackle and a tight end. And so if it were a tackle and a guard, it'd be a swap call, okay? Now if it works out one more of the tight end, it's a slug call for us. So they're trying to cut off the backside on the zone play. Normally use this call on an inside zone because a lot of times if it was outside, we would arc the tight end. And so a slug call is a technique that we use mainly on inside zone on the backside. So what we want our tackle to do, if there's an inside shade here, we want him to slow down if he doesn't have an immediate threat right here with the guard. We'll use a slug technique versus a shade on the nose or a one technique on the guard over here, and then we can slow play it and help the tight end by holding him off with our backside hand as the tight end overtakes before we come off to the linebacker. Let's take a look here at some slug techniques. So it's a good job there. We have a shade on the center. So the tackle and the tight end are working 90 to 7 here. And so the tackle's going to shuffle step inside and lean into that guy, nice long arm, to help buy time for that tight end before he works up the field to the scrape backer. Excellent technique on that slug block. Okay, slug block again here. Now they're slugging. On this particular look here, they're slugging to this guy. So depending upon where he's at, will change the angle that this tackle is going to have to take. If he stays outside, he can now step with that outside foot and just work vertical. He starts working inside. Now he wants to long arm him as he's in position to pick up that linebacker over the top. Excellent job with the long arm here, buying time for the tight end to get his head across. Tackle staying square, shuffling, keeping his feet apart in perfect position right here. This is an excellent job on a slug block. Couple NFL clips here, same type of block now. Backside tackle and tight end. He wants to cross the tackle's face. That's fine. Instead of cutting him off of the tight end, now he's going to work that soft shoulder up to the linebacker. So again, they're just working that combination of however it wants to fall. Those two have these two. And so if he stays outside, he'll long arm him and he can get up to the backer. If he tries to cross face, he'll be taking him down, flatten him down. Tight end will close the air out between he and the tackle and climb up to the linebacker. Here's another look on the left side of a slug. Tackle does a nice job of getting a piece of that guy. He's got to keep his eyes on 53, though. Actually, on this one, they're blocking it with a lead back here, so they're taking their stacks back. So now the slug block's working to number 20. Excellent job. Again, it's just knowing your point and who you're working to on the slug. Are we slugging to this backer or are we slugging to this backer? They were communicating, good communication. They know that their slug is to these two. Okay, now you're going to get a slug block going to the right. It'll be on the left side, the back side of the play. Nice job by the tackle. Takes his track, slows down. Long arms back, buys time, and helps slow that guy down for the tight end as he climbs up to the linebacker. Excellent job on a slug. Okay, you're going to get a slug block here on the back side with the left side, or the right side, I'm sorry. The right side here, tackle and tight end are going to slug up to the linebacker. Again, the blocking scheme, again, it's handed off to the right, but the play is being designed and is being blocked this way. So this back is designed to do this. So they're working the slug block up to this guy. Good job by the tackle, helping that tight end off, not in a hurry, but he's in a great position here to square up to that linebacker. And so that's a slug block. Got one more here, backside slug. Excellent job destroying the down guy and knocking him up. I think the tight end should stay on this and they can lift that guy up to the linebacker. You don't have to come off if you knock the level 1 defender into the linebacker. Our next zone blocking technique is our cutoff block, and the cutoff block is it's a backside block by the guard or a tackle. It's going to take a hard angle, generally to a head up to inside defender, and cut him off to the play. Now, at times, we're able to get the guy completely cut off, but if he's playing hard to the inside, or if he's an outstanding player, or if he happens to have movement, we'll also utilize our cut technique to cut that guy, still getting the backside cut off and creating that cutback lane. So again, it's generally versus an inside technique on the backside of the play, and it could be with the guard or the tackle, and we're trying to cut off that inside defender. Now, there's also times when we'll wash that defender down, the ball come all the way across him, but the idea is to try to cut him off and create a seam for the play. So let's take a look here. We have some good clips of some different techniques, some different ways of getting this done. So here's our first one. This is the backside tackle, is our right tackle. He's got a 4-eye, and his job is to get that guy cut off. So he went now on a cutoff block. We're going to take a drop step. Okay, our check step's going to be a drop step, and we're going to cross the backside leg and try to rip through. So we're going to drop, cross, and rip is the term we like to use here. Drop, cross, rip, and cut off that defender, which he does an outstanding job here of cutting him off on that play. Okay, now we're on the backside. Again, the guard's working with the center, so now this tackle is working to cut off a 3 technique. So again, he drop, cross, and then he's going to try to rip, and if he can't get the backside rip through, he wants to take that guy down the line of scrimmage, stop penetration. Okay, we're not always going to get him completely cut off, but if we don't allow penetration, there's always a chance this ball can come behind him, which it does right here. Excellent job. Distort the line of scrimmage, wash him down, stop penetration. Even though you're working to cut him off, if you stop penetration and take him down the line of scrimmage, that back's got the opportunity to press and cut off the butt of the cutoff block. Okay, versus a 4-eye. Here's a change up by this guy and using the cut block. Again, if that guy's hands and knees are on the ground, he's out of the play. What we're trying to do on this block is we want to cut the defense on a cutoff block. So wherever we get that guy down, we have now cut the defense and created all this space. So this is a good change up on that particular play. Okay, now we're going to have a cutoff by the guard again as a change up, drop, cross, and he can throw to rip. And watch the defense open up here. This is an outstanding job. Again, on a cutoff block, we're trying to cut the defense. So once that guy's cut, the defense has been cut right here. And as long as we wash it here, we've created a huge cutback lane for this back to go in. So that's why, hence we use the term cutoff block, because it's cutting the defense in half here. Okay, here we go again. We're going to have a right tackle. We're going to cut off on a 1 technique. Doesn't do a great job here ripping his backside hand. Okay, still in position, gets it done because it's an outside play, but he can take that backside hand and punch through the play side armpit of this guy and get him cut off. Okay, got a cutoff going to the right. Now, this guy's got a tighter technique on the guard. He understands what he has to do. If he gets this guy on the ground, he can't get him cut off. Okay, and he probably isn't going to be able to wash him down and stop penetration either. But if he can get him on the ground, we can stretch a hole and get that defense cut. That guy's on the ground right there. And what we look for on these cut blocks is we want the guy's knees higher than his head. And you can see right here, there's his knee. There's his head. That's an excellent job cutting that guy and getting him on the ground and getting the defense cut off. If that ball's handed off, okay, that guy's on the ground and they've done a great job on the scoop here. We've got a place to run the football here. We've created a hole in the defense. Okay, here we go. This is a inside zone again to to the right. Now, we don't like cutting a lot on inside zone, but when we get against a double eagle defense or an odd defense like this with 3 techniques, sometimes it's our only answer to get that guy on the ground. Now, it's important to understand that if you do a great job of getting him down, the ball's going to get by this guy before he can get up and make the play. He's not in position to make the play, so therefore the offensive lineman's getting the job done. Again, drop, cross, and then rip and throw would be the same thing. If he's going to stay up and he could get him cut off, he'd try to throw that backside hand through this play side armpit of the guy. Flatten him down the line. If you can't get him flattened down or stop his penetration, cut his legs out and get him on the ground. Okay, here's a good example here of a cutoff. Is in position to cut him off. Guy continues to crossface, but notice the distortion of the line of scrimmage. The offensive lineman, he starts the play with his feet a yard behind the line of scrimmage, okay, behind this line. Watch as the play goes, his feet cross that line, okay? He has now moved this defender, okay, off the ball, distorted the line of scrimmage, and has created that cutback lane. If the guy is penetrating, we don't get that. But if you stop his penetration, and again, we're not looking to knock everybody 10 yards off the ball, but we want to get in position. And if we've knocked him off 1 yard and flattened him down, the back can now press and cut off of him. That was an excellent job on his cutoff. Okay, now we got a 4-eye. I don't like the cut technique here. He's flopping. He should get a running start, drop, cross, rip through the play side leg. He gets it done. He gets the job done. You can see the defense is moving still, and that guy's laying on the ground. But it's not great technique, but it does get the job done. Okay, here's an inside shade. Guard's fighting to get inside on this guy. Can't get his head to the inside. Could do more cross over with his backside foot. But he does flatten the guy down and give us an opportunity to cut behind him. And that's our cutoff block. Our next zone blocking technique is our gang call. And a gang block for us, what that call does is that brings our backside guard with the center and the front side guard on a zone blocking play. So it's a 3-man combination. We'll use it, and here's a look here. If say we have a nose and we think that he's going to spark and they're going to twist and he's going to go backside on the center, a gang call would bring the backside guard with him, where we may have a swap going on the backside here with the guard tackle. If the center thinks that guy's going to cross his face, he'll make a gang call, and now he'll bring the guard with him to pick up the tackle or the nose, and then the tackle will work to the B gap. So gang call brings the backside guard working with the center and the front side guard. Let's take a look here at some different clips of a gang block. So this is a gang here. We'd like to get the guard to react a little quicker on the left side, but it's a 3-man combination, so that guard he does end up picking up the guy, but he should be coming with a little more urgency. And the center does a nice job of setting this twister to the guard, and then the guard should keep coming. And the center's got to fit up and finish that block. Okay, here we go again. So we're going to the left, and that shade, the center believes that he's coming with him. He'll make a gang call, and now those 3 guards will work together. Or the 2 guards in the center will work together. So initially here, they were probably thinking swap. Guard coming here, tackle swapping up to here. Center feels that this guy might be playing across his face, makes a gang call, and brings the guard with him. Here we are again. Center bringing that backside guard. Instead of working up through the backers, they make a gang call and they come all the way down. Center should keep going there. Going to the right. Okay, gang call brings the guard with them. Center's got to come off just a hair quicker here to that other backer. But again, guard, center, guard working together. That's a gang block. Our next zone blocking technique is our bang back technique. The bang back technique's a technique that's utilized by both the centers and the guards. It can be used by any of the linemen, but mainly centers and guards. And what we're doing on a bang back technique is you're going to step with your play side foot. You're looking at the near knee of the defender to your play side. And if that defender slants away, you're going to plant that play side foot, bang back to the anticipated slant on your backside to stop his penetration, and then climb to your linebacker. So for instance here, the left guard is checking the near knee here of the nose. As he steps to scoop that guy and the near knee goes away, he's going to bang back to stop the penetration of the end before he climbs to the backer. Same thing here. Play side guard is stepping to the defensive end. His near knee goes away. His near knee goes away. He bangs back to the nose to stop penetration before climbing up to the linebacker. Now, in an even front, you'll be able to do that with the center. So if we have a look here and the center is going to the right and he has a shade on him, as he steps, he may bang back to help that guard before climbing up to his backer. So bang back technique is you're stepping to your play side, banging back to stop penetration prior to climbing up to the backer. So let's take a look here at some different bang back techniques. First one's the center. He's going to be going to our right. He's stepping to check the 3 technique to see if he comes to his gap. If he doesn't, he plants his play side foot. He bangs back to help stop penetration on the guard before climbing up to the linebacker. Excellent technique here. Okay, now you have an opportunity to do it with the guard. So here's an odd defense. So they're both stepping, guards are stepping and checking the near knee of the defender to them. So watch this guard right here. So he steps, this guy's already cheating this way, okay? So he can anticipate and then bang back and climb. What it does is it pries open the defense. Here we are again with the center, stepping. Okay, now they got a cross plug coming. He bangs back, puts a lick on the linebacker, and then he needs to come off to the play side linebacker there. Good recognition, good bang back. Okay, same thing again, center, step, and play side. His combination, so he probably has a slide call to these 3 guys. Okay, but he understands that this guy's a good player. That's a hard cutoff for the guard. Now we can use a bang back before we come off to our linebacker to help pry open the defensive line. Okay, here's both guards doing the bang back. Step, bang back, stop penetration, pry open the defense, and there's 2 good run lanes there. Now this ball's not handed off, but there's 2 excellent places to run it by banging back and stopping and cutting the defense. Okay, backside guard. He steps, nose goes away, bangs back, cuts the defense. Okay, he's got a play side shade. Center understands that the blitz is coming from the field, lets the guy cross face, guard reads it, bangs back, and look at the seam that's created right there. If that ball were handed off with that bang back, it's created a huge seam. So it's a good technique to teach and recognize. You just set up the defense and give them different movements and have them react to it. And the bang back is a reactionary technique for us. So it's not a technique that we're going to go into the game and, into a play and say, well, this is a bang back play. Bang back happens when we step, see what's happened with the defense, and it's a reactionary technique that we use. Our next zone blocking technique is our arrow block. And what an arrow block is for us is when the backside tackle takes a direct angle to the backside inside backer. Generally use this on the backside of a zone play. Could be used on some type of influence and trap play, but it's a direct angle to the backside backer, generally when we have an inside shade on the guard to a shade to the center on the backside here. So then he has that direct angle up to that linebacker. So let's take a look at some of these clips here and some different arrow blocks. So we're looking at the left tackle on this particular play here. And again, on an arrow block, we still got to close the gap to the guard adjacent to us as we then climb to the backer and get him covered up. Left tackle again. Closing that gap, taking that direct angle to the play side backer, or the Mike backer on this particular play. And again, fits up on him. We're going to do a good job of covering these guys up. Now here it is off of his own play. So you can also use shuffle footwork here. You can use check step footwork. But again, it's a direct angle here to that linebacker. And then he does a nice job of flattening him down, stopping penetration, and giving the back a place to cut. Left tackle again, comes down, under control, squared up, lowers his hips, fits up on the linebacker. Here it is, our right tackle coming down. He's using shuffle footwork here on the zone play. Does a nice job fitting up and finishing his block. Here's another example of an arrow with the right tackle coming down, clearing. And again, on an arrow call, you want to do as much as you can to clear this guy freely. Now, the one thing you might think about when we're teaching this, if that backer's not moving, then sometimes we'll pivot back on this defensive end in our arrow call. Because it appears that they're playing gap exchange, we'll let that backer go. But on that particular one, he just came down to the backer. Now the backer's inside, so we know that we got to stay on our track, try to avoid contact, wash him by the play. He does an excellent job here of washing that one by. Okay, now here's a change-up block on an arrow. So I like the departure from the line of scrimmage here and the angle he's taken. Then as a change-up, he's going to cut this guy in space. Again, you get good results. Linebackers don't like to be cut. They think they're being blocked up high all the time, and it's a good opportunity to make a change-up block on this arrow block. Our next zone blocking technique call is going to be our track call. And What track blocking is for us is if we're running a play, let's say we're running a speed offense, we want to get a line, get the ball snapped quick as possible. Don't want to take time out to make a bunch of calls up front, or we have a quick motion, we want the ball snapped on timing, then we can call all of our different combinations off and just make a track call. Track, 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 track. And then that means each player on the snap of the ball is going to take a check step with their play side foot, and we're going to zone block through our track and our play side gap. So on this particular look we have on the screen, basically the backside tackle has the B gap, the backside guard has the A, center has the front side A, guard has the front side B, and the tackle has the front side C. So whatever defender, okay, is responsible, and as we know, it's a gap cancellation defense. Whatever defender is responsible for that play side gap is the defender you're going to block. And again, it's a term that we'll use and a scheme that we'll use when we're trying to play fast, that we don't want to wait for the defense to align. We'll simply call track blocking, and we can snap the ball. Every guy can take a check step with their play side foot, block through their track at a 45-degree angle. So let's take a look here at some track blocking clips. So again, it's all 5 guys are going to do it on the same page. It's one call that we can get all 5 guys stepping the same way, and again, blocking their play side gap. So here's a look at a track scheme. This is going to the left, so this would be track blocking going to the left. Each guy is working their play side gap. Again, you'll see them all take a check step with their play side foot. Every guy is opening to the play side with their left foot, and they're going to block through their track. Okay, here we go again. Same thing, going left. Track is the call. Everybody's going to step play side foot, block play side gap. Again, here's a look where we happen to have motion. We're trying to time the motion up, don't have time to make calls. The other thing is, if you have motion, the box is going to change. And with the timing of the motion and the box changing, we don't have time to change our calls up front. And so anytime that we have motion or anything that we're doing that could change the box, or we want to line up and snap the ball as quick as possible, we're going to make a track call. Okay, here it is again. This was just trying to play fast, get up, get a line, track call, block your play side gap. I know this, and I tell my players this often: when in doubt, track it out. You can call track anytime. It should, most of the time you're going to be okay. They're not going to put more than one guy in a gap. Here's a good look right here at track blocking. We're going to throw the RPO off of it, but everybody's blocking their play side gap.